Tonight on PrimeTime, folks, we continue the march to Mania with WWE Hall of Famer, good old JR Jim Ross, joining us live via satellite as we start to break down the announced Wrestlemania matches. Along with that, we've got hot news from WWE and TNA, along with DWHS and more. So sit back, relax, and get ready for the longest running wrestling talk show in the world right here, right now on My 24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime Saturday night for March 19, 2016. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time knockout, straight-edge, hardcore, goat-faced, alleged Hall of Famer hero. How the heck are you?
I'm tremendous.
No, that's a matter of opinion.
No, seriously, it's been.
Is it because of Tuesday, Super Tuesday 3?
We had Super Tuesday. We had.
Don't
St.
put "we" in, because if
Day.
you're lumping yourself up with the winner of Super Tuesday, you will be excluded from this show again, or again,
I'm
as
just
Chris
trying to
Jericho
make
would
this
say.
show great again.
You aren't making hate again?
And then, you know, we've been back and forth, Chicago, C2E2, and down there with Gene Okerlund again tomorrow.
Yes, and St. Patrick's Day this past Thursday, but none of that matters because, folks, it's time to really dig our heels into the march to Mania. You know, we've had dig our heels into, really get into it, get behind it, put your weight into it.
I don't wear heels.
I've never worn heels either. So when
You seem like an expert about it right now.
I'm just saying, I said you put your heel, not your heels into it. I don't like you. Hey folks, this week's March to Mania segment is brought to you by the Shenanigans VIP Party, which is coming to Dallas to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Kevin Nash is the host, and it is a can't-miss, one-of-a-kind event. You can get all the details right now at PWRshow.com. Guys, the 32nd annual WrestleMania is just a couple of weeks away, and as you know, PWR has been on the march to Mania, with appearances so far by Billy Gunn, Road Warrior Animal, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Well, the march continues this week as we welcome WWE Hall of Famer, good old JR Jim Ross, who is joining us now via satellite. JR, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Absolutely fantastically tremendous. I couldn't think of a better person to be joining us to talk about WrestleMania than the legendary Jim Ross.
Thanks.
Well, JR, you know what? There's been a lot of discussion about the Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania between Shane McMahon and The Undertaker. And while many fans are in favor of the match, a large portion still have questions. When Shane returned and this match was announced, WrestleMania immediately, in my opinion, got bigger and became must-see. The weeks following has set up some of the drama of the match, including having Undertaker, Shane, and Vince McMahon in the ring at the same time this past Monday night on Raw, where Shane said that The Undertaker was no more than Vince's bitch. So, JR, what do you think about this match, which clearly has high stakes at WrestleMania Texas, as you've deemed it, and what about the build-up so far?
Well, I think the match will probably exceed most people's expectations. I know both men very well, and more importantly, they know each other very well, and they also understand the responsibility that has been placed in their lap to deliver at WrestleMania 32. So I think we'll get an interesting match. I don't have any Briscoe Funk expectations. It's going to be a grappling classic, but that's not how it's booked. It's not booked to be that. That would be like saying the Kimbo Slice Dada 5000 match wasn't George St. Pierre. No kidding. So I think that the Undertaker and Shane will have a match that people will enjoy, and it will be within their wheelhouse. So it should be interesting. It'll be some whistles and bells to make it even better. But I don't think it's going to be bad at all. I'm looking forward to it.
You know, I think that there's so much story surrounding this matchup, and it seems like a lot of fans might be missing that story, at least the natural story within the McMahon family. But do you think that story within the McMahon family, will it have the potential of overshadowing this matchup, or should it overshadow this matchup?
Well, it shouldn't overshadow it. I think it's hopefully the garnish to the entree being the Hell in a Cell match. I don't think that the Shakespeare or the McMahon dysfunctional family and their billionaire dynasty, perhaps crumbling, is going to overshadow the actual match. When the entrances happen and the match happens, that'll be what the focus should be on. At least that's what I would think.
Now, you were there at WrestleMania 17 when Shane McMahon took on Vince McMahon, and what was just a tremendous fight and a very emotional night with Trish Stratus involved and Linda McMahon involved when she was doped up, I guess you can say, in the wheelchair, and had played a role in the finish of that matchup. Do you anticipate that this match, while not the same two participants, but this match will be on par with the level of entertainment provided at 17?
Well, we hope so. It's hard to forecast. That's the thing about it is that I don't have a crystal ball. I'm a fan like everybody else. I can't forecast what I believe is going to be the exact things that are going to occur, and I'm glad that I don't know. I'm glad that I can follow along as a fan and not get ahead of the story. So you have to believe that the Undertaker and Shane match is going to be surrounded by all sorts of extracurricular entities, whether it be in the form of McMahon's or be in the form of how they utilize the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
JR, with everyone talking about Shane and Taker, there were rumors about Undertaker and Sting, Undertaker and John Cena, maybe Taker and Brock again. With those three not being an option, I think Shane McMahon is the best option, because otherwise, if a match with Bray Wyatt or Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns, it would just be another guy that Taker rolls on through. This way, there's a lot more of the unknown with Shane McMahon. If it's not Shane, who else could you have seen working with Taker at the biggest WrestleMania?
Well, that's a good point, and I'm with you. I think that I was going to Las Vegas to do a press conference for CBS Sports Network, the boxing gig I'm doing, and that was the day after Shane McMahon returned and surprised the world on Raw. And I got it on the Oklahoma City airport. I got it in the Las Vegas airport. I got it at the hotels and the casinos in Vegas that I happen to be frequenting with this black hat on. So it was like a meet and greet, and everybody wanted to talk about Shane. They wasn't talking about WrestleMania specifically, just about Shane McMahon is back. So I think he's the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know who they have in the wings, but put it this way, there's nobody on the current roster that was ready to seamlessly move in and meet The Undertaker at WrestleMania. No one was ready. So reaching outside the envelope, contrary to what many think being a bad thing, turned out to be a good thing here, because I agree, Shane McMahon was as perfect a solution for a dicey problem as WWE had.
And it was shocking to see him return. As you said, it was the talk of the town. And it really was an injection of adrenaline, I think, that the WWE needed, because up until that point, when Shane came back and this match was announced, I was wondering what they were going to come up with as a marquee match for WrestleMania, and clearly it's going to be this Hell in a Cell match.
Well, it's certainly getting a lot of conversation. Obviously the WWE title, I'd assume, will go on last. I'd be shocked if it didn't. It'd be a big mistake if it didn't, in my view. Obviously, Lesnar's a big attraction, a big pay-per-view attraction. I don't think anybody expects him to lose whatsoever, but I think it's just a matter of, Paul Heyman probably hit it on the nail on the head the other night when he said people are going to tune into WrestleMania to see how bad it's going to be for Dean Ambrose. And there may be something to that.
Right.
I think this show is ripe for somebody off the radar as we speak to have the opportunity to steal the show, because none of the three top matches are just guaranteed lock classics. They're all going to be good, they're all going to be solid, and they all can have their moments without question, but there's some matches underneath that have a chance to really turn some heads.
And JR, we're going to be talking about some of those matches specifically later on here in this same broadcast, talking about the Divas matchup. It's a triple threat match for the Divas Championship featuring three tremendous talents who all came up through the ranks of NXT. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on My24 Milwaukee continues.
What does David have to say in this week's DWHS? Jim Ross joins us again later for more WrestleMania discussion. All this and more coming up on Prime Time.
The Soder family thought they'd take a road trip this summer. A little fun, a little sun. What could possibly go wrong? Even under the best driving conditions, semi-trucks can still be dangerous. The results of being in a wreck with 40 tons of steel and speed can be catastrophic. And it only gets worse when you don't have Gruber Law Offices on your side. If you or a loved one has been injured by a semi-truck, call Gruber Law Offices now. One call, that's all.
Hot news, folks, is brought to you by PWR Feedback Friday, where we discuss Jackie Moore being announced as the next inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. We also do as David Hero loves, which is respond to your comments about our broadcast. That's every Friday at 5 p.m. exclusively at PWRshow.com. Fans, Monday on Raw, it was announced that Ryback will take on Kalisto at WrestleMania. Did you catch that?
I did. Well,
I'll repeat it, though, just in case.
Challenged.
Okay, well, look, having seen this match brewing for weeks, what is the goal here? Is this more for Ryback, or is this more for Kalisto? We should have asked JR about that earlier. Maybe we'll ask him about it later. Because I'm missing something here. WrestleMania.
You know what it
Maybe
is?
they're going to be on the pre-show.
Maybe they're going to do something great with Kalisto because he keeps saying the good big guy always beats the good little guy.
David and Goliath?
I can see Kalisto getting
Nash and Mysterio?
I can see the upset. There's been a lot of upsets lately.
Such as?
Oh, just look at Super Tuesday.
I am not having this discussion with you. There's been a lot of talk about the New Day lately and their statuses as heels in WWE.
You know what you could have done?
What could I have done?
You could have just written my name in. I could be the monkey wrench of this entire election. If the Super Friends were to unite and just write in my name.
So you'd be like Ross Perot. And Ross Perot said
I
you
have
people.
way better
Donald
ears
Trump
than
said
Ross
those
Perot.
people, right?
My ears are way
Same
better than
thing.
his.
Whoa. Monday on Raw.
Seriously?
The New Day. I'm just stating facts. This is not that program. Monday on Raw, the New Day took a brutal beatdown at the hands of the League of Nations, and then the match was made for WrestleMania.
I loved it.
Should New Day and the Bootios be positioned more as a face team, or is their current place exactly where they should be? They're tweeners, I guess you
know
can call
what it is? And I've said this before. The New Day reminds me of the New Age Outlaws.
You didn't know?
When they first came out, they had the gift for gab, the sing-along time, everything else, and they eventually went from the heels to baby faces.
Yeah.
Same as New Day. And the League of Nations is dominant.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
a lot of people don't like them. I think that it is one of the greatest foursomes since the NWO or the Four Horsemen. It's the greatest
that
faction.
video you saw last week?
I did not see
On the
Sonny's
WWE
video.
Network.
Oh, Edge and Christian.
Yes.
Yes. I think it's going to be a great match. I think it'll be highly entertaining. But is it going to be 4-on-3, or 3-on-3, 4-on-4?
They mentioned the Freebird rule, which of course is relevant because the Freebirds are going to the Hall of Fame during the matchup on Monday night.
So does Wade. I mean, it's if you think about it, it's amazing how where these guys were a year ago as to where they are right now.
And part of our special coverage of WrestleMania in 2 weeks, folks, we're going to have a special edition of PrimeTime looking at the bridge between WrestleMania 31 and WrestleMania 32, and that'll be an interesting discussion for a lot of those talents. But I guess we'll see how this all shapes up at WrestleMania and how the fans react, more importantly, because they're in Dallas. 100,000 people are going to be chanting New Day rocks instead of New Day sucks.
And imagine the loud USA chant they'll get there in Texas.
Folks, the Orlando Sentinel reported on plans for the rumored WWE Hall of Fame physical location at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. And that site will not be the location for the Hall of Fame, as has been rumored. The former NBA City site will now house the, you ready for this, David?
Yeah.
The Toothsome Chocolate Factory restaurant.
What's a toothsome?
I don't know what a toothsome is. I think it's like Willy Wonka, the chocolate factory.
Really? Well, then you should call it Willy Wonka.
So with this being said, David Hero, does WWE really need a physical Hall of Fame? Because it will not be, at this point in time, at Universal Studios Florida in time for WrestleMania.
They will eventually need one because it'll be a great revenue stream for them, because with every Hall of Fame is visited, whether it be the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, whether it be the NBA Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball, NFL, they need one, and in Orlando it would be a great spot because just for all the merchandising they could do.
Yeah, but WWE New York failed due to management issues.
It was all management.
You know, I was there on the last day, February 23rd, 2003, of WWE New York.
Well, that explains
I watched the No Way Out pay-per-view. Went the next day, sign on door, closed forever. No indication the night before that it was closed. I still have my tickets up.
Is it because you cleaned them out of Jameson?
I had not yet discovered Jameson at that time.
No, what was it then? Zima?
I was drinking that at the time. It's good. It was good stuff. Folks, Roman Reigns returned on Monday night, and he took it to Triple H after Triple H defeated Dolph Ziggler, which was an interesting scenario, by the way, with the WrestleMania match at stake.
That was terrible.
The fans could not have been less enthusiastic, though, about Roman Reigns. Now, the question, David, to start discussion on now, what's the reaction for Reigns going to be like at WrestleMania?
Let's first rewind a second and explain what they did with Dolph Ziggler. He was a sacrificial lamb because if Triple H beats up one of the baby faces, one of the top guys that the fans truly love, and Reigns comes up for the save, you'd think they would cheer Reigns. And they did not. They booed Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had more, there was cheering, but it was unenthusiastic cheering. For what he should have gotten as a reaction for the beatdown of Triple H, which was a receipt for Triple H's beatdown on him a couple of weeks ago, it was absent. And remember, wasn't it Pittsburgh where they loved him when he won the championship, Roman Reigns?
Yes. No, it's Philadelphia.
Aren't they the same city?
No.
Brotherly love? That's his brother?
No, because LeBar's in Pittsburgh.
Who?
Yeah, you know, he's a loser.
Oh, the guy with Eisenberg.
Yeah. But poor Roman Reigns. I mean,
you know what? Let's table this, because next week JR is going to be joining. JR is going to be joining us in a few moments again. But we're going to be talking about Roman Reigns and his character and whatnot next week with JR as well, folks. That is this week's hot news. Thank you so much for. Well, that was good interaction, David Hero. You're doing good. You're engaged this week.
I'm always engaged.
Stay tuned as Jim Ross joins us again for more WrestleMania discussion coming up on Primetime.
Hi, gang. Mean Gene Okerlund here on My 24, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report. All of the news about wrestling, not only here in Milwaukee, but throughout the world. Stay up to date. Join us every Saturday night.
The PWR Event Center is brought to you by PWRshow.com, where you can subscribe to the PWR Now network and watch all of our shows on demand. The hard-hitting action of Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee's Turner Hall on Sunday, June 12th. Tickets are available now at papstheater.org. PWR is invading Dallas for WrestleMania. Kevin Nash will again be hosting the Shenanigans VIP party in Dallas on Friday, April 1st from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Nash will be joined by Billy Gunn, Al Snow, Terry Reynolds, and many, many more at this exclusive party event. The party is only 5 minutes away from ROH and NXT, so get your tickets now at PWRshow.com. Find out more about our other huge events, including the Super Friends Fan Fest featuring the Outsiders now by going to PWRshow.com.
This week's DWHS is brought to you by the Super Friends Fan
Do we have to do this?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, what's more important, JR or DWHS?
Well, DWHS is always important.
JR's ratings.
It's the spoken word.
He's uplinked right now.
Yeah, he appreciates the DWHS.
Well, go ahead.
It's real simple. It's the Super Friends Fan Fest, May 7th and 8th with the Outsiders, Heenan, Okerlund.
Bobby the Brain.
And now just signed former Divas champion Melina. Well,
oh, really?
Lucky appearance.
Melina Perez?
Yes, but let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Shane McMahon and The Undertaker.
Here came the money.
I've been saying that those two should not engage. They should not touch until WrestleMania.
We talked about it earlier with JR, too.
And what did they do? They got involved and they got physical. And it exposed Shane as not being on the same level as Taker as far as I'm concerned. His punches were weak. Yes, he got out of the choke slam. Vince pushed him into another choke slam. But now the wonderment, is that even a word?
You can make it one.
As to
is
what
wanderlust a word?
As to what could happen. Now we know some of the excitement is gone.
For you?
And I think for a lot of people.
No. See, you're taking the Heyman approach, which I don't disagree with. Paul Heyman, especially in his ECW days, people went 6 months without touching each other building up to a big match.
Right.
We've only had this situation for 6 weeks, or 3 weeks now.
I think they made a huge mistake.
Okay.
I really do. And we'll see what happens in 2 weeks from now. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania 32 in Dallas will be there. But if you want to have good heat and reaction, don't let the two guys touch until they finally get in the ring with all the props, all the pomp and circumstance and everything else. And I think they blew an amazing opportunity. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
In just a few moments, we are back with more PWR Primetime, and Jim Ross joins us again to talk more about WrestleMania Texas. Primetime TV continues in just a few moments.
It's the biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Dallas. Join Nash and friends, including Billy Gunn, Mean Gene Okerlund, Al Snow, ODB, and more for a VIP party event Friday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling in downtown Dallas to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Dallas, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
Fans, earlier tonight, we talked with Jim Ross about the Shane McMahon Undertaker Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. And now it's time to continue the March to Mania discussion, talking about the Divas Championship. But first, JR's going to be calling the action on a live pay-per-view event this Sunday night for the UR Fight Internet pay-per-view from Phoenix, Arizona. This mixed event features MMA action between Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock, and boxer Ray Jones versus a fan with $100,000 on the line. You going to take that challenge, David Hero?
Absolutely not.
Oh, you should. It'd be a way to get rid of you. But the main event of the show will feature Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio for the first time in 10 years. JR, what are we going to see this big, very variety-filled event coming from Phoenix this weekend?
I don't have a damn clue. Have no idea. It's going to be live. It's so diverse. It's so unpredictable. I don't think I've ever signed on for anything quite like this, to be very honest about it. This is not hyperbole. If you got any brains, any intelligence, you can look at the card, look at the individuals, and say, oh, that's a stable group of guys. This is going to be a real predictable show. It's not. Severn and Tank Abbott might go a minute, might go 5 minutes. I don't have any idea. Roy Jones Jr. is going to risk 100 G's to box, and he's not been boxing in a while. So everybody's got a knockout puncher's chance, right? Yep. So Ray and Kurt, we kind of get a little predictability in that. Chael Sonnen and Michael Bisping in a MMA grappling match. That'll be a first for me. So I have no idea. It's going to be unpredictable. It's an interesting show. YourShow.tv has all the information. I do know it starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday, and it's $11.99 if that matters to you.
That's a hell of a deal.
To me, it's a couple of cups of Starbucks. Get your buddies together, and you pay for your pay-per-view and see this train wreck. It's going to be interesting.
JR, my question is, are they going to have two separate rings, or is Kurt and Ray going to wrestle on a boxing ring?
No idea. They may wrestle on the concrete floor for all I know. I don't have a clue. I would think that they'll probably protect Ray and Kurt because they'll be doing the most bumping of all those matches, I would assume.
Right.
And so the ring will be more pro wrestling friendly. Might not be ideal for boxing, but it'll be pro wrestling friendly, I assume. But again, I haven't seen the facility. Celebrity Theater in Phoenix is going to be hosting the event on pay-per-view. So, hey, look, for me, it's getting back on pay-per-view. The second time I've been on pay-per-view since leaving the WWE, first being Wrestle Kingdom 9. So hey, it'll be fun. I'm looking at it like it's going to be fun and unpredictable, and we'll just call what we see. It's live TV, so we're not rehearsing anything.
Right.
I don't even have the card yet, so we're flying by the seat of our pants here. So it should be an adventure.
Yeah, awesome. Well, JR, the Divas Championship is going to be on the line at WrestleMania when Charlotte defends against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, and that's going to be a triple threat match for, as I said, the Divas Championship. Now, these three came up from NXT. Charlotte, of course, the daughter of Ric Flair, who's obviously going to be at ringside in this matchup. Give us a little insight, JR, as your thoughts of these three talents, Banks, Lynch, and Charlotte, and this matchup at WrestleMania, a triple threat Divas match for the championship.
Well, I first of all congratulate all three of the ladies for making the big show in a match that people are talking about. So that's the first thing. In a perfect world, I would have preferred a one-on-one match as opposed to the three-way. But I understand the reason for doing it and creatively why they're doing it. It certainly elevates all three women that are in the match. You will come out with two losers and one winner. And that, depending on how that's structured, it should be interesting and could be uplifting for all of them. But the Diva division is good. It's solid. It's growing and doing well. I'm not real crazy about the term Diva. I think it's dated and a little bit antiquated, so it's not cool anymore. I think it's also kind of sometimes you feel like you're speaking down to a woman when you call her a diva. Yeah. I don't think it's complimentary all the time. But in any event, it'll be good. I don't think Charlotte needs her dad at ringside, but maybe right now works for him. A nice rub. I'm not sure. How many times can you trip and distract, as Bobby Heenan would say back in the day, trip, distract, and pass nuts. I don't know how much how that works. I could see her basically taking old Yeller out to the woodshed and shooting him, and basically firing her dad. If you want to make her a heel, you fire her dad. She fires her dad and tells me, yesterday's news. You weren't here when I needed you. You're not here now. I've got you in this position just to humiliate your ass. And so if you want her to be a heel, that's what you do. And you basically shoot old Yeller, figuratively, obviously. So everybody cries. And including No Yeller. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe Sasha Banks brings Snoop Dogg to ringside. That would be interesting because I hear he's going to be there. So I don't have a problem with that.
Snoop versus Flair?
Well, you know,
ringside?
well, they could certainly. The old deal, obviously, is to neutralize Ric Flair. But again, all these things we're talking about starts taking away from what's in the match, what's in the ring, and so I don't know that you need anybody on the outside, quite honestly. And I think that you got to structure the match where all three are going to shine. I have no idea what they're going to do with the end. Don't want to know, but I'm happy they're all there, and it'll be the greatest opportunity of their careers. And so when you see them enter, and you see the twinkle in their eye, I think it's going to be very legitimate that these girls are going to have their day. This is their moment that they've been working on.
Also, Chris Jericho is going to take on AJ Styles at WrestleMania after their friendship devolved a bit a couple of weeks ago on Raw. Styles, of course, debuted in WWE at the Royal Rumble. He's going to be making his first appearance at WrestleMania just 3 months after debuting with the company. AJ Styles, you've seen him in obviously TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and now in WWE, gets a big shot against Jericho at WrestleMania. This is a pretty significant matchup for both men.
It is, and I'm glad that they put Jericho in a position to do the honors for AJ Styles at WrestleMania, which is what should happen. I think WWE broke the team up simply because it would give a better platform for AJ and Jericho to have at WrestleMania, and thus facilitating a significant singles win for AJ Styles at AT&T Stadium. So there's no reason this match shouldn't be excellent. If the only thing that would curtail or hobble this match in any way would be the time restrictions on the match. And certainly one would think that that'll be taken into consideration. The longer these guys have to go, the better story that they will tell and can build the audience to a cool crescendo for AJ to get his hand raised.
Thanks, JR. Thanks for joining us here on the March to Mania. We look forward to talking to you again next week, discussing more of their Mania matches, including the big matchup between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on that and our comments about Dean Ambrose. I just wonder how far Brock is going to be able to throw Ambrose, which I think is pretty far. We'll see you again next week, JR. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. See you next week.
Folks, the conversation continues online. What a show, David Hero.
It was awesome.
2 segments with JR. Good old Jim Ross. It's always great hearing from him. And next week, he joins us again. But the conversation doesn't stop now because of, well, I think we did everything we needed to do, so there's no extra this week.
Of course.
No extra.
No.
Forever, ever?
We can do a double extra next week.
Double extra?
Yeah.
Double extra large?
Sure.
Double extra small. Follow us on Twitter at PWR Show. Same handle on Facebook, PWR Show. And don't forget to check out the free PWR Now network with new shows daily at PWRshow.com. Did you figure out how to download the Fight TV app yet on your phone there?
You know, I tried.
Your screen's cracked.
I haven't. Oh, that's
It doesn't.
why.
It's got to come back. Then you start over. Folks, next week, WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross is back again via satellite as we continue the March to Mania. And believe me when I say, we had some preliminary conversations during the breaks with JR today. What he has to say about Dean Ambrose is going to be must-see TV, folks. Until then, for that one, this is Damian Nelson saying, so long, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next week.